Namo Buddhaya. Hello to all of you and all of my wonderful Catholics out there. This is where it all started. You all know that my root came from the Catholic world, and here we are visiting a church. Just wanted to bring everyone closer. So, I remember every Sunday when Mass was held and when they performed the Holy Eucharist. From my standpoint, this is the Catholic's version of enlightenment, to bring people in the presence of Christ and to experience when the priest makes the bread and wine into the body and blood of Christ. I remember in that moment when I was a little boy looking at the priest when he held up the Eucharist and he says, "Do this in memory of me." Nothing really matters in that moment as a young kid, you know. It was this amazing experience. And this is why it's good to keep the Holy Sabbath Day in the commandments, because we can see how life pulls us different directions, pull us away from God. And when you show up to church, you are reminded to keep the 10 Commandments first and foremost, and to be in that presence of the Holy Eucharist. This is a beautiful church. I don't think anybody ever heard me say that as a Buddhist monk. But from time to time I do come here and I sit, because I know that my answers lie in here. We also reflect on the suffering of Christ and how in the midst of our own suffering, we think that we cannot tolerate or endure pain. But when you look at how Christ suffered, and looking at some of the sisters and priests who experienced the suffering similar to Christ in their body for hours each day. There were certain sisters, now saints, that endured significant physical pain. It always touches me a certain way, because isn't that inevitable in this life? Mental pain and physical pain. And if they can endure it and stick out through the whole process, I assert that we can do the same. So both philosophies, the Buddhist world and the Catholic world, help the human make sense of their suffering and it teaches you how to suffer. And if you know the how, you suffer much less. So thank you, Tony, for recording, and I just want to spend some time in here alone, in silence, in prayer.